teachers, I thought I would do one more video today. I appreciate all the positive feedback. There are, I think, a couple of posts. I'm reading so much now, I don't know if it could be a variety of groups. But anyway, I think I saw a couple of posts in this group about games that you can do online, games and activities. So for me, it's easier just to pop on and do a video and demonstrate. That's actually how I learn better. I'm not very good at writing down directions. I get really wordy, and I would write you a long novel for like a 2-minute game. So I'm going to do a video instead. So I do not use a lot of apps in teaching, which is kind of strange. I joke that I'm kind of a analog teacher. I just happen to use digital electronic devices to do my analog teaching. So, but one app that I really like is NoteRush. I don't know if some of you know about NoteRush, but it's a great app. I think it costs, I don't know if it's maybe $2.99. I've had most of my students get it. It really helps with note recognition. So what's great about NoteRush is you actually play the note on the piano, and the app recognizes whether you've played the correct note. So it works really well for the spatial recognition. So they just can't play any D. They have to play the D that they're showing a picture of, which a lot of students struggle with. So, but I use that game in lessons, but again, the reason I don't use a lot of apps is they're not very interactive. It's just a student working with a screen, not a student working with another human, and I'm all about that human interaction. So I use this along with my dry erase board. So I just thought I would kind of take you through my process. I wish I had a student here that I could video this and show you this with, but I'll kind of try to talk you through it, and hopefully that will be helpful. So if you don't have NoteRush, I guess that would be the first step, is to get NoteRush, but you'll get to see here if that's something that you would like. One thing I discover, I should say this first, one thing I discover especially with NoteRush, it's great because it's like a video game, right? But it also, based on how many you get right and how long it takes, you get so many stars. 3 stars is the best, and then 2 and 1. And I find that my students really latch on to the fact that they have to get 3 stars, and so they rush through things to try to get the 3 stars, and they make mistakes, and they don't get the 3 stars anyway. So one thing that I've done is really encourage students to focus on the precision and not the speed, and I tell them the speed will be the side effect, and that will happen once they keep getting better at what they're doing. And as their precision gets better, it will naturally get quicker. Anyhow, so in order to sort of help them not get frustrated with the app, we actually go to my magnetic dry erase board, and I usually have these guide notes set up all the time. Sorry, the board's a little bit messy. I have all sorts of things on here. And NoteRush, actually, the different levels of the game tie really well into, I think, guide notes that most teachers use. So F and G, and then middle C, treble C, bass C, and then I also sometimes will use, it depends on the level of the student, but the app actually goes, like the highest level of the app will take you all the way to high C, and I'll give you a quick visual. I should have had this set up, and low C. So you could do all the way, you could do all of those guide notes if you wanted to, or do fewer of them. So the first thing that I will do with students is just have them review the guide notes. So, you know, I'll ask them the note and have them play it. So they know these all are C's. This has some color coding, so all the C's are red. So they'll name the letter pretty quickly, but it will help them remember that, you know, treble C isn't the same as high C, and so on. Then what I will do is do what I call manual NoteRush. This also encourages them to have a charged device to do this with, because they like to play the game, and if their phone isn't charged, then we can only do manual NoteRush. So manual NoteRush is, tell me what that note is. And I always have these guide notes here because then they always have a tool to figure it out on their own. Now some students right away will say D, and of course that's a common mistake, right? So then I can take them up to the alphabet and have them check their answer. So that's why I have these alphabet cards here. Also magnetized. So that's something you can do. And if you don't have a fancy board like this, there's some other things, of course, that you could do, which I'll talk about in just a second. And then maybe I'll put a note there and have them guess that. So I'll just keep moving this note around and have them name notes. So it's kind of like Note Rush. The difference is I'm only having them name the letters. At this point, we're not playing the notes. We're just naming it, so I'm separating that out. I apologize if that wasn't clear. So that's the first thing. Then I will take them over to, or I'll actually take myself over to the piano. They're already at their piano. And then open up Note Rush, which I have to find. So I won't talk too much about Note Rush. There are a bunch of different backgrounds. There's a space theme. There's usually a seasonal theme. There's a sports theme. I've just got on the regular Grandstaff theme. I don't know if you can kind of, yeah, there you go. If you can kind of see that. So when you start it, I'm trying to get the right angle. It will ask you to play middle C on the piano. And then, oops. And notice when you get the correct note, it makes that ding. If you get the wrong note, it does that. See, I only got 2 stars. So for some students, just getting 2 stars, so that's a starter level. But you can hear, so I have the student has, I might be sitting like this, the student will have their phone up here. So I generally can't see the screen on their phone, but I have them have their volume up and I listen. And if it dings, then I know they're doing fine and I just kind of hang out. And if I hear that sort of, that thumping noise that they've got the incorrect answer, what I sometimes do is keep the screen turned on the guide notes. I know that I've turned it here now, but so you can see me, but I'll keep the screen facing those guide notes on the magnetic board, so when they can't figure out a note, they just turn, they look at the guide notes, and then they can try to figure out the note. So I try to let them have a process to think through that. So we do a lot of that. We do manual Note Rush first. Lots of times we do that at the very beginning of the lesson. It just sort of gets them thinking about what they're going to be playing note-wise, and then we'll go to the actual Note Rush game. And you can do it at the end of a lesson too. I've tried to make that a little bit part of the routine for students who struggle a little bit with note reading or just need some review and reinforcement for quicker recognition. Now, if you don't have a big dry erase like that, I just wanted to show you, and this is like a really old thing, so a lot of people probably don't have this anyway, but here's just a paper, a dry erase paper staff. I mean, you could use a smaller dry erase staff. You could draw a staff on just a regular dry erase board. You could draw this on a piece of paper or just go, I know there's places online because I printed them before where you can just print a big staff and you could draw these on. So, and then you could take, just if it's not magnetic and it happens to be dry erase, you could just say, what note is that? And then, wipe it off, probably with a Kleenex and not your finger, but you get the idea. You could go like that. You could just draw them, so drawing them on. I'm trying to think of another way. Yeah, if it's not magnetic, you kind of have to draw something. If it's a piece of paper, you could draw them, but then you'd have to keep adding more pieces of paper. That might not be so great either. But that's something that works really well, and you could easily hold this up as they're playing. And then if you wanted to, even if you want a music alphabet, you could write the music alphabet up here too, so they can see that. Like I have those yellow cards over there. So I hope that's a little bit helpful. Sorry, this video went longer than I thought. But yeah, so that's a really, really easy thing. And especially if teaching online is going to be a temporary thing, this might be a great thing to try out. So if that wasn't clear and you have a question, let me know. Alrighty, hope that was helpful. Bye-bye.